I just want to start off with saying, Jade, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited that we'll be exploring some fascinating topics together. And just to kick things off, literally with one look at your website, you can see that your personality is like shining. So is there a certain like formula or a process that you deploy when it comes to infusing your own personality within a brand?
It's interesting because I feel like a large part of my work for like the past 10 years of my career has been very social media heavy. And if you are a social media manager or if someone is watching a brand on social, there's obviously someone or a team behind the brand. So it's like obviously there's a human that is like speaking on behalf of the brand. And I think by nature, some of my own personal voice, my style of speaking, the words that I use kind of gets infused in that. But I think it's my job as a marketer to be able to tell when I can take my voice, but refine it in a way that makes sense for the brand. So it's more so like I look at it as a style, if anything. So, you have painters, every painter has like their own style of expression. So you have one that like may love cubic art or someone that loves more freeform art. For me, I try to be a little bit more free spirited in my style. And I think that's just because that's who I am naturally in my everyday life. It does kind of show in my personality. So I think whether I'm working for a brand, working on projects for a brand, or doing work for myself, I always try to find ways to just like add a little bit of what I call the Black girl magic into it, just because that is who I am naturally. And I feel like I want my work to kind of showcase who I am and what it is that I love to work on.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you. So my next question will be is how do you balance the need for innovation and creativity in marketing with the importance of, maintaining a brand's authenticity and core values, especially when dealing with the digital savvy audience that we have?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky sometimes because I think, especially now, we're seeing that like a lot of brands are just fighting for visibility. I feel like a lot of social media users or just consumers on social are also fighting for visibility. So it's just kind of like, what can we do to keep our content fresh, new, and exciting? And I think there's like a very sharp line that brands can either cross where they start getting into territory where they just start doing things that have nothing to do with their brands. And like you mentioned, I think things should definitely, when you're taking an approach to a marketing strategy, campaign, whatever that looks like, it should be rooted in authentic brand values. But I also recognize that brands go through evolutions just like humans do. So, who a brand is in the first 10 years of their business may not be the same that they were 20 years after that. So, it is something that kind of ebbs and flows. But I think at its core, when you think about what brand values are, it should really be what breathes life into a business. And if you're kind of walking the talk or talking the walk, either way, it's like that's what should show up in all aspects of your brand. So when I'm working on content or creating content or working on content strategies for brands, that's something I think about. What are the core values of the brand? And then how can I build content out of that? And if it's something where I feel like, who they are as a brand doesn't necessarily match up with how I want to show up on the platforms that they want to show up on, I try to find what is most helpful to the audience. So providing that value, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are consuming the content. And I really do look at content as a gift. So sometimes I think with brands, they get like in their own way and they're like, everything we post has to be about us. And I'm like, who said that? Like literally no one. So I think it's like, when you're creating content for brands, it's also okay to just create for the sake of providing value to your customer or your audience. And sometimes that value is purely entertainment or inspiration. It's not necessarily always going to be buy this product from us or utilize this service.
Hey, yes, you're absolutely right. That was extremely helpful. So what role do you believe that storytelling plays in connecting the digital generation, and how do you incorporate narratives that are culturally relevant and compelling in your marketing strategies?
Yeah, that's a great question because I feel like that's something I like a word in the industry, marketing, advertising that I feel gets kind of thrown around. Like, we'll hear people that be like, I'm a storyteller, but I feel like everyone is a storyteller. Like, if you can open your mouth and say something, you're likely a storyteller. And not even just through words, like through how you express your creativity as well. But I think storytelling is what it comes down to is like human connection. And when I'm working on strategies or content for brands, I really always like to think about, of course, the audience, because like that is the foundation of marketing and advertising, like who our audience is, but like who are they as humans, not necessarily as like this demographic profile that I think like when we're trying to show data and insights, we like to kind of base the core of our strategy on. Of course, that data is like relevant, but I think, when we even think about culture, it's this term that I feel like is representative of what the human experience is. So when you're talking to people in their everyday lives, like what are the things that are interesting to them? What are the things that they care about? Like to me, all of those things inform strategy and then allows you to kind of tell a great story from there. So, let's say hypothetically, I'm working for a brand that sells soaps. Random. I don't know. Like, of course, we can talk about all day and long about like why these soaps are so great and why they're so beneficial for everyone. But what's really going to be more impactful to the audience is hearing personal stories from people saying how this soap changed their life or even how it didn't. Because at the end of the day, a testimonial, whether bad or good, is going to help, you develop your product or your service in a way that's even better than before. So I think that's like really what the core of storytelling is, building that human connection from the brand to the people that we're marketing to.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
So, with you having your own agency, the M-Co, what advice do you give marketers looking to authentically connect with diverse audiences in the digital age and considering the rapid changes in the online trends and behaviors?
Mhm. Honestly, just reach out to people. That has been like a huge part of my business. Like, I am very happy to say, and granted, I don't know if this will be the case forever, but since I started my business, every project that I've ever worked on has been via referral. And again, I think that goes back to what I was saying before about building human connection. I think that also means relationships as well. People want to work with me because they know they can trust me, and they know that they can trust me because one, they hear from other people that I can be trusted, and then also I show up very authentically in who I am. So for me, I do a lot of business, and a lot of people frown on this, but I do a lot of business based on like how I feel. If I get on a call with someone and we're talking about like, the potential of a project, if it's something that I don't feel like I can help with, if it's something that I don't believe in, if it's something that I don't feel like I'm the best person for, I'm not going to do it. Even if it's like, tens of thousands of dollars. I would love the money, but that's not my purpose in life. So I think, as I build my own clientele and work on a lot of the projects that I choose, it's really because I want to do work that is purposeful for me. And I do everything in my life in pursuit of my own joy. And that includes the projects I decide to select when I'm scoping out for new business.
Yeah, wow, that's huge. That's awesome right there. So you're having over 10 years of experience in marketing and the advertising industry. What are you, as an experienced marketer, searching for with respect to building a powerful marketing team of your own?
You know what's funny? I'm actually not trying to build a powerful marketing team. I think again, like when I started my business, it was really because I wanted to work on the projects that I wanted to work on. I've been like very fortunate to work with a variety of different brands throughout my career, but I think ultimately when I thought about how I wanted to show up in the world and the type of entrepreneurship that I wanted to pursue, I wanted to do work that again brought me joy. So I knew at the get go, I actually didn't want to hire anyone. I was like, I will happily collaborate with people, work with other freelancers, work with other creators in the space. But I knew that I just wanted to build a business that was for me and allowed me to service myself. And that meant, like, again, working on the creative projects that I wanted to work on. So that is also why I turned down a lot of projects, because if I feel like it's something that's going to wear me out emotionally, physically, I just won't do it. And it helped me focus on, again, myself and doing the things that bring me joy, which is my purpose in life.
Listen, I love that. That's so huge. Your purpose is important, so you don't get all drained and all of that stuff. So I totally get it. So I understand that, you're involved in various projects, initiatives, and with being the host of the Creator Tea Talk, how are there, well, not how, are there any recent projects that you're particularly excited about and that you maybe want to share with our audience today?
Yeah, Creator Tea Talk is one of them. I recently bought the season back for, excuse me, the series back for season 2, which I'm very excited about. I kicked off, I think Siri thought I was talking to her. I said season, not Siri. I bought season 2 back last week actually. And it's funny because I started Creator Tea Talk last year, and it was kind of something that I wouldn't say I did on a whim. I had been thinking about it for about a year prior to that. I was like, I want to create some type of series that's about the creator economy, especially because I was coming into a space kind of owning my own environment as a creator and working on projects again that I really enjoyed. And there was just so much that I was learning in the process, both from being a marketer and also a creator. So I just felt like I had this kind of duality in view in terms of like what both should be knowing about working together. So when Creator Tea Talk came to life, it was actually funny because I was working with a brand partner that I had. We had like a year-long contract, and they hit me up and they were just like, "Hey, Jay, we have a little bit."
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, Siri.
Hold on. Let me see if I can turn her off. Okay, I think we're good. Not Siri crashing my interview. But we had a project towards the end of the year. They hit me up and they were just like, we have a little bit more budget. We want to spend it on something. Like, let us know what you can do. So I literally just came up with like this pitch deck. And I was just like, here are a few ideas that I have. None of them were really fleshed out. I was just kind of like, this is what I'm thinking. And they kind of decided that they wanted to go with the Creator Tea Talk idea that I had at the time that was like in concept. I didn't know it was going to be called Creator Tea Talk either. And they were just like, let's go with this. We love the idea. And I was like, oh shoot, like they actually picked the one. It's funny because it was like the last slide because I was like, we'll worry about that later. But they picked that one and they were like, yeah, let's get it launched. And I remember being like, are we sure we don't want to just like wait until like Q1 next year? Like we can start fresh. And they were like, no, we're going to do this now. So I had like just a couple of weeks to pull it together. And it was like amazing when I launched. They sponsored the first 2 episodes, and it was amazing that when I launched, it got such the response that it did in such a short period of time. Like I think one of our episodes got like 125 listeners, which was crazy. I was just like, first of all, I didn't even know like people listen to things on LinkedIn like that. So it was amazing to see that like even in that, first few episodes that I started with this brand new series that people were willing to tune in. So that was really exciting.
Listen, well, I am so excited to join in on some and like really just dive in. Every time I follow you on like various platforms. So I see the purple braids, I'm like, I'm set. I want to know what she's talking about, what's new, what she's doing. So huge fan of yours and just all that you have going on. I love everything about it. So listen, I know it's late, so I will not hold you very long. So just as we wrap, Jade, I just want to express, my sincere gratitude for you just generously sharing your valuable insights and your experiences. This has been just absolutely great. I am just genuinely thrilled about the perspectives that you brought to the table. I can't wait for everyone else to hear them. And I anticipate hopefully us connecting in the future and continue to stay connected and just, eagerly watching your ongoing success in the marketing realm and all that it comes with. It's a lot going on. So, and you are mastering it. So
Thank you so much.